All right, folks, we've been riding motorcycles for a long time, and after you've been around the block for a little bit, you start to hear the same things over and over again. Logan, I think these are proverbs, aphorisms, these little sayings that you keep hearing all the time. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, epic truth bombs.
Epic truth bombs that the wizened riders love to drop on you. And today we're gonna rank them in terms of how false or true they are. Let's begin with the one you hear all the time. I had to lay her down. I had to lay her down. Often typed like this on the internet. This is kind of a Harley thing, right? Let's be real. It's a cruiser thing that we hear all the time.
It's definitely a Harley guy thing, a cruiser guy thing. I own a Harley Davidson. I've luckily never had to lay her down, but something tells me my time might be coming.
I think the had to lay her down thing is so absurd to me because it implies that like the rider is riding in some sort of like Matrix bullet time situation where they see the grass clippings, they see the gravel, and they go, my best option here is to intentionally lay my bike down because there's no way I can make this corner. I mean, it's crazy. I think this one is completely absurd. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely absurd. And I think people just say it anytime they like crash their motorcycle. Yeah. Like, I had to lay her down, you know?
Right. I think it helps them feel better, you know?
And I think it's one of those phrases that's just lost all meaning the more times people have said it. So I think it's become interchangeable for like a brother crashing is he had to lay her down.
Yeah, had to lay her down. And I think it sounds better than I suck at riding and crashed my bike. You say, I had to lay her down. I had no other option but to lay her down. And in fact, turns out you have many options. You could brake more. You ever think about that? Maybe you could slow down more. You could lean more, huh? Hey, think about it. Maybe you could carve your way through the corner. You don't have to lay her down. You don't have to do anything, really, if you think about it. You have free will, and your will can have you press that brake lever. Do whatever you want to do. So, Logan, I think this one completely false. All right, Logan, what's next?
So this one usually comes from an older guy. Maybe it's like a car guy, someone that's tangentially understands motorcycles, but doesn't ride himself. And he'll say, if I got a bike, I would die. You know,
what else is crazy?
What does it say about the person's level of discipline, you know, self-respect, self-control, impulse control that they swing a leg over a motorcycle, instant death.
Burst into flames, going to die. Yeah, this comes from usually people I've seen that have like never ridden a bike ever in their lives, and they think it's like, oh, those are death machines, I would just die. It turns out that if you jump on these machines that have been well thought out for over 100 years at this point, developed by good manufacturers, and you learn how to operate them like you would an automobile or a forklift or any other mechanical piece of machinery, it turns out you can just ride them just fine and everything's gonna be okay. Where do you think this one comes from that people say that I would just die?
I mean, I think it probably comes from either hearing one too many horror stories or just having like abstract understanding of their own self. Like, do they think they have no control over the things they do? You know, maybe it feels so foreign a concept. I mean, I think forklift driver is a apropos comparison because I think if I drove a forklift, I might die, you know? I was never taught how to properly operate a forklift. So to me, it sounds incredibly scary.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't know how to do something, it seems scary. And I think this one does come from a place of fear. You don't understand something and you just think, oh, if I got on this bike, I would die, or somebody would crash into me, or I would just go crazy, and I would just, you know, I can't have a bike. I would just ride like an insane person. And a lot of those people I find are like tubby men at gas stations wearing flat brim hats who have no idea about anything.
Deadpool hat.
Yeah, they have a Deadpool hat, and they're telling me about how they're so crazy that they would jump on this bike and just instantly die. That to me screams more of your inability to operate something correctly and have skill rather than how amazing and cool you are. So let's stop punching down a little bit, Logan. Any truth to this?
No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's absolutely insane. And also, you're gonna die anyway.
That's
so ride a motorcycle and have some fun in the meantime, you know? A lot of life to live between your ultimate demise. Ride a motorcycle, it's a great time.
That's a really fair point, yeah. Like, if you ride a bike or you don't ride a bike, you are still going to die.
Yeah.
Let that be the lesson for today's video. Moving on. Without a doubt, this next one has happened to you, it's happened to you, it's happened to me, it's happened to nearly every motorcyclist. Someone says, You ride a motorcycle. I knew a friend's cousin's boyfriend who had a bike and died. Logan, I hate this one.
Yeah.
I really do, because it's such a bummer. Like, you tell somebody that you ride a bike and the first thing they think of is like, oh yeah, that dead guy.
Yeah,
it's like, maybe I don't want to hear that, you know? What do you think about this
and
one?
Yeah, it's probably coming from a place of earnesty or something, but I'm of the mindset, life's too short to live in fear. You know, you must rationalize the risk in our lives and make calculated decisions and have a little bit of fun while you're at it. You know, not everything is life or death. There's, for as many people who die on motorcycles, there are plenty of motorcyclists who don't die.
Yeah.
On a motorcycle.
I think the vast majority of motorcyclists don't die on a motorcycle.
Right.
I think it's, you know, a sizable statistic, right? We're not going to sit here and tell you that people never die riding motorcycles. Obviously they do, but as we say here on the channel, it's because they weren't wearing helmets, or they were drunk, or they're riding at night, or doing really stupid like 180 mile per hour highway pulls.
Right.
The vast majority of people riding motorcycles actually don't die riding a motorcycle, which, hey, maybe that makes you feel better. So this little aphorism, to me, it's very negative. There's not a whole lot of truth to it, honestly, or I guess like the person that died riding a bike, that is true, and RIP to whoever you're talking about that died on the bike. But I don't think it really holds a lot of truth for you to tell somebody like, oh, those are too dangerous because I knew somebody random that died on a bike. So I think there's a small nugget of truth to this, but mostly kind of like a negative and false thing to say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's definitely some truth, but something that should be taken with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? Like I said, calculated risk taking.
So I think this one we're gonna sit somewhere around here. It's kind of like, it's mostly false and kind of negative, but like there is a kernel of truth to it. Motorcycling is dangerous and you should think about it, but as Logan said, life's short, have some fun.
So this is one when you're talking to an old timer, you know, he comes up to you at the gas station and says, man, that's a cool crotch rocket you got there. Or they see you on a sport bike and they say, does that come in men's? And they say, I used to ride, but I can't trust myself. So it's sort of similar to the, you know, I'd ride a motorcycle, but I'd die. It just raises some questions about self-control, impulse control, calculated risk analysis. That seems to be the theme of today's video.
I think this one is a bit different than the if I got a bike I would die, because this guy is saying that he used to ride, right? But he
did it wrong.
He did it wrong, and he's just such a risk taker that he just couldn't trust himself anymore. And yeah, to Logan's point, I think it's like, why? Maybe just like don't ride that way. I've never understood this where it's like, I can't trust myself on those things, man. I'm like, so what else do you do in your life? Are you like a compulsive gambler? Do you have like a drinking problem? You know, like what else has gone wrong in your life? And you know what, to be fair, maybe if you are that type of person that literally has no impulse control, you abuse drugs, you know, you do all these things. You know, maybe you do tell yourself like, hey, that's probably not for me because I genuinely am missing something in my brain. But most people use this as an excuse because they got scared.
Yeah, it's like a cope for sure.
It's a cope.
And it's being like, yeah, I don't ride anymore, but I don't want to sound like lame or whatever. Like it's always being like, oh, look, this, you know, I don't want this young biker to think I'm like lame because I gave up riding. It's like, yeah, if you just don't want to ride anymore, you can give up riding. You don't have to spin this yarn of like, oh, I'm such a crazy like risk taker, I can't trust myself.
And I think that's funny too, because you know, for example, if they did make bad decisions, let's say they were 20 years old, they somehow ended up on a leader bike and they say, I couldn't control myself. I'm like, why didn't you just size down?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many appropriate motorcycles that you can keep them whacked open, wide open throttle for like 10 seconds and not a whole lot's gonna happen. And then if you really want to keep riding, you could do it that way, you know? So I think this one, I mean, we're hitting a lot of false today, but it's also like, I don't think there's a whole lot of truth to this. It's like, I can't trust myself. But again, maybe in small cases, you know, if you do have a genuine, you know, inability for impulse control, or you're simply not fully developed yet. That prefrontal cortex, baby, 25 years old. So maybe a little bit of truth to it.
I'll get there one day.
You'll get there one day. This guy's 22 years old. Next up, an all-time classic, one I'm sure you've heard of before. It's not if you crash, it's when. Logan, I think this one's really fatalistic. It's kind of just like saying that, oh, like every single rider is gonna crash and you just have to prepare for it. I don't know about this. I don't know how I feel. Like I get the premise of it, right? Where it's saying that like, you know, most riders have one or two spills, crashes here and there. Yes, but it's also kind of like we can take steps to avoid it. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, one, it's just like a bummer. All these are like bummers. You know what I mean? And I think they come from like places of good intentions, right? Of being like, hey, it's, this is a risky situation. You should know what you're getting yourself into. So it's like, for me, like, I believe in the power of positive thinking. Call me like a corny, like hippy dippy freak. But like, I don't like when I ride my motorcycle, like thinking I'm going to crash. Not that means I ride recklessly or beyond my skill level or take crazy risks. I just want to see myself arriving home safely. And that maybe sounds like an abstract idea to some people that are just like, I just want to go out and like, get a crazy adrenaline rush and do crazy stuff. It's like, I commute on my motorcycle, I run errands on my motorcycle. More often than not, I'm just trying to get from one place to another, have a little fun along the way. So I don't like every time I swing a leg over being like, this is the day, because like, I haven't crashed a motorcycle. I've been riding for like 7 years or something. I've never, I've tipped a bike over in the parking lot or whatever, but I've never had a moving incident. And I don't want to
give you a bonus aphorism. He ain't riding hard enough. If you ain't crashing, you ain't riding hard enough. That's another one I hate, but anyways.
And so of course,
I didn't know you had never crashed.
Never crashed. Wow. Knock on whiteboard. Trusty whiteboard. So yeah, I think again, it comes from a good place, but I think positive thinking and seeing yourself getting home safely is better than being like, this is it, this is the ride. Totally. That's like that emo TikTok biker stuff.
Completely, yeah. This is something I mention in my vlogs a lot. I tell you guys like, hey, have a plan to make it back home. Like if you leave on your bike, like Logan said, imagine yourself coming back home. You're like, I'm gonna come back. And yeah, it sounds a little hippie woo-woo, but like, have a little ritual where you're like, every time I touch my clutch lever in this certain way, I'm reminding myself that I'm gonna make it back. Like, I do this on track a lot because like I haven't crashed on track in like 4 years. I kind of stopped doing that, which is nice, and I keep getting faster, which hey, that's great. But I often tell myself before I unload the bike, I do it in a very specific way. I have like all these little rituals to just remind myself like, I'm not gonna bend this bike today, especially because a lot of the times I'm taking giveaway bikes out there. I'm like, I cannot bend this bike today. And maybe that's helped me become a little bit better at it. But yeah, this whole idea, it's not if, it's when. Yeah, there is, I would say maybe 40 to 50% truth to it. A vast majority of riders do end up having a crash here and there. But I think if you do, take the moment to understand that you probably made bad choices that led to that moment. A lot of this today is this kind of theme today. It's like personal choices versus like, this like, oh, it's just gonna happen to me, man. There's nothing I could have done. I don't know. I'm a big believer in personal responsibility. Like you are the maker of your own destiny. You don't have to fall into this idea. We have some PMA. Look at all these wonderful themes in today's video. So I think this one's sort of more here, right? Like kind of like leans towards like, this is kind of bummer fatalistic thinking, but there's some truth to it. It's more than likely at some point you will have a spill or a crash on your bike, but make good choices and it's less likely. Look at this guy, no crashes.
No crashes. Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say on it, it's like, if you are thinking of the idea that sooner or later something's gonna happen, making an effort of, you're not gonna be the one at fault, right? Like, because certain things you can't control for, traffic, cars, things happen on the road for sure. But making a point of being like, if I crash, it's not going to be my fault.
Yeah.
That's kind of the personal responsibility angle I take with it.
You know what's wild? The DJI Osmo 360 weighs just 183 grams. That's less than your phone, and it still packs full 8K performance. It's so light you can throw it on your helmet, your handlebar, your tail section, wherever, and just forget that it's there. It's like having a pro camera setup that doesn't weigh down your helmet or throw off the aerodynamics of your bike. DJI built it to be simple and functional. No bulky rigs, no messy adapters. You've got magnetic quick-release mounts and traditional quarter-inch threads, so it works with all of your existing Osmo Action gear. Speaking of ease of use, you don't even need to carry a backpack full of extra batteries because the battery life is unreal. You'll get 100 minutes of continuous 8K recording on a single charge, or up to 2 hours in endurance mode. And if you're really going for that all-day mountain loop, throw on the optional battery extension rod for up to 3 more hours of runtime. Plus, the internal storage gives you about 80 minutes of 8K footage, even if you forget your SD card. So, whether you're hitting the twisties, filming a track session, or just vlogging with your buddies, the Osmo 360 gives you pro-level footage without the weight, the bulk, or the headache. Hit the link in the description below to learn more about the DJI Osmo 360.
Oh, this one's crazy.
Speaking of personal responsibility, just run, bro. Cops have no chase policy.
Yeah, show them the bumper sticker. That's a good bumper sticker right there.
A cop's definitely not going to pull you over if you have this on your F-150.
Put that on a Prius.
That'd be funny.
But this one's insane, right? This is like very TikTok, social media, short form brained content of like, oh, they have no chase policy, so that means you can run. I cannot state this any clearer or more unequivocally. Running from the police is a really stupid idea. Basically, always, right? And you mentioned this to me the other day where it's like, if you're putting yourself in a position where getting pulled over is gonna lead to like you going to jail, and then running is a better option. Again, you've made poor choices that led to that decision. Like, why is your, license expired or suspended, or why are you like have so many points on your license that if you get pulled over again, you're gonna go to jail? Like, there's no reason to get to that point.
Yeah, right. Like, what could the worst possible outcome of getting pulled over be? Even if in the worst case scenario, it's like your bike gets impounded or whatever. It's like, you're not gonna do 6 months in jail unless there's other things you've done for leading up to this point, And
that's a great point too. Like, if you get pulled over doing like a $150 and a 40 or whatever, like, yeah, you made a really bad decision, and like you're probably gonna go to jail, I think. Like, I don't even know what happens if you get pulled over going like 100 miles over the speed limit, but maybe don't go 100 miles over the speed limit and pick the right moments. I mean, I talk about this a lot. Like, I'm not gonna be stupid and sit here and say like, I never speed on my bike, I never do anything. But pick the right moments, do it sparingly. Like, there's an intelligent way to do it, but don't run, dude. Don't run.
Yeah, I think the first piece of advice is like, don't get caught doing 2 illegal things at once, right?
There you go.
Like, if you're gonna speed a little bit or whatever, like we all ride motorcycles, it kind of comes with the territory. 1, don't do insane triple the speed limit stuff. And 2, have an actual endorsement. It's crazy the amount of people that's like, I ran because if I get pulled over, they're gonna impound my bike because I don't have my endorsement. It takes 48 hours to get your motorcycle endorsement. Just do it, be a grown up. And then also the thinking of being like, I think young people have this thought, it's like, if I get pulled over for XYZ, it's gonna be like game over for me in my riding career. It's like, it's gonna cost you money more than anything else. It's like
money and time.
Just get pulled over, either eat the ticket or hire a traffic lawyer, take a class, and the points will get wiped. Like, they'll force you to learn from your mistakes with your time and your money, right? Like, they're not gonna, unless barring extreme circumstances, they're not gonna get put to jail. So risking dying from running from the cops, or running from the cops and still getting caught, like that, and you're gonna go to jail. You know what I mean?
Running is a felony. Running and evading police is gonna change your life if you get caught doing that in a big way. So this one, don't run because they won't chase you. Completely false. Even though
we'll put it on the bottom.
Even though there are states where they won't chase you, that doesn't mean they can't find you later. Like, a lot of these cop cars have, surveillance and like cameras and stuff. And then like, perfect example, look at Jigshabra. He was doing his crazy Colorado run. They geolocated his cell phone and like found him at the gas station, matched his, bike to his helmet. Like, they built a case. If they want to get you, they're gonna get you. Don't put yourself in that position. It's very silly. All right, the first more positive one today that I think we can all agree is a little more true, thankfully. It's dress for the slide, not for the ride. I think this one's pretty accurate, Logan. I think this one it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm primed to distrust anything that rhymes. Like, I'm like, how accurate can it be if it also happens to rhyme? It seems a little too good to be true.
Sure.
But in this case, I think it's pretty accurate, It's just, wear the gear that is going to protect you if you go down, because you never know when it can happen. It's not if you crash, it's when.
We just said that's not true.
Right. Sorry.
That's right.
It's just too easy.
Too easy. I think this one is a more elegant way of saying at-gat, right? Because I think anyone that says
at-gat doesn't rhyme.
It doesn't rhyme, and I just feel like it sounds really dweeby, It's like, it's an acronym. I'm like, I don't want to remember that. It's like, dress for the slide, not the ride. It flows off the tongue. It's a nice way to tell riders to wear their gear, wear as much as you feel is good for your protection and all that. And I think this one, I don't really feel like there's anything false about it. It's, wear some gear, that's good.
So I don't know how I ended up with this one on my side of thing, but I would go to the track, but it's too expensive. It sounds like something I might say.
This is kind of a funny, like, behind the scenes thing. I know that Logan is completely uninterested in anything track related because the 2 recent bikes we have that are going to be giveaway bikes, one is like a beautiful cruisery type of thing. The other is like a fire breathing V4. You've not even once walked up to the V4. You're not interested in it at all. So I don't think track's really like your thing, which is fine. That's cool.
Right. So it's like, this is something I'd say, but also I'm not going to then ride like I'm on the track off the track. I think that's the consequences. People say track's too expensive, so I'm going to get my jollies on public roads.
Yes.
Push the limit of their skill, of their motorcycle, of the road itself, and then that usually doesn't end up working out so well.
Yeah, I think the idea that something is too expensive, so you're going to do this other thing that is putting you and everyone else on the road at risk and in danger is really stupid. I'm going to be very blunt here. Don't be a broke ass bitch and not go to the track and then put everybody in danger on the road because you want to do 180 or 190 miles an hour or whatever. That's really, really stupid. Just save up your pennies. All that money you're putting towards like carbon fiber crap on your bike or exhaust or slip-ons or whatever, it's not that expensive to go to the track, right? If it's something you really want to do, you prioritize it in your life, right? You say, oh, I want to go to the track twice a year. Okay, track day might be $500, a couple extra $100 to get transport and all that. You're talking about maybe $1,000, right? Think of it like a vacation, right? If you were going to go take a fun vacation, you would drop a couple $1,000s, whatever it is. Like you could, save some money, and much like track days, you can save some money too. You have to position it that way. It's something you want to do, something more like vacation, that type of thing. And if you want it, you make it happen. I think saying that something's expensive so you don't do it is a stupid excuse.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be so blunt, but this really upsets me when people have this excuse, especially when they have a newer bike. I'm like, you're making payments on some bike. If it's too expensive, it's because you haven't budgeted correctly. We're not to get into personal finance here, but yeah, this one, I don't know. For me, it's pretty firmly false. All these are false. Turns out you shouldn't listen to anybody doing weird little rhyming aphorisms at you. They're usually pretty stupid. Well, we've covered personal finance, personal decision making. It's now time to talk about relationships because you're getting a lot of value in today's video. This next saying is someone saying, oh, I was gonna get a motorcycle, but my wife won't let me ride. Crazy that you're allowing your spouse to make decisions on your behalf. That is already a weird place to start. But I think this one, I'm a guy with a family and all that. I think there's some times where maybe you can't make certain decisions because of your kids. I could see that, but like if it's just you and your wife and she's telling you can't ride, I think that's insane. How does this strike you?
Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. I may be only 22, but I am a happily married man, and my wife and I are very supportive of each other's decisions. And I didn't ride motorcycles before we were together. And then I started, and it was a non-issue. She's like, that's something you want to do. I trust you and your ability to be safe and responsible and do the proper training, everything. And it's been easy breezy ever since. So I think, it's either indicative of some sort of other issue or fissure in the relationship.
Totally.
Maybe it's just a monetary thing. Maybe they don't have the budget for an expensive toy.
That's fair.
But also, like I said, you got to plant the seed in your mind and then make the decisions and the choices that get you there.
Yeah, I think that you got to find a way to be positive in your relationship and work together to do the things you want to do. There should usually never be a case where someone is just unilaterally denying someone the ability to do something they want to do in a relationship. That to me doesn't strike me as a very healthy relationship to be in.
Definitely.
To jump off what you were saying, I started my relationship with my wife currently now. I was already a motorcycle rider when we met, and so I kind of had my motorcycling locked in. And I explained, I think second or first date with her, I said, hey, this is a huge part of my life. It's never going to change. If that's a problem, then it's non-negotiable. If that's an issue, nice meeting you, but let's part ways, because I did not want to get to a point in the future where it became like a big problem, and it's never been. There's some times now that we have a young daughter where she says like, boy, I really wish you wouldn't ride bikes. And I try to tell her, I'm like, hey, I am a very capable, experienced, and safe motorcyclist, far beyond what most regular people are doing on the road. And you just, like Logan said, if you want to do something in life, you do it, together and collaborate with all that stuff. So I think this one has some truth to it, but it's not even about motorcycles. I think it's like, if you have this issue where like your wife is controlling what you're doing, you have relationship problems. You got to figure that out,
I think this is said more often as just like a cope of being like, your buddies all got bikes and you're like, you don't got a bike, you feel left out.
Life.
And then it's like, wife won't let me get one. And it's like, you don't gotta blame your wife. Like if you don't want to ride, or if you're not in a place to be able to afford the hobby or the lifestyle, just like kind of own up to that and be like, oh, it's not the right time for me. Not be like, oh, my wife won't let me have it.
Yeah, that's like super boomer behavior. Just like throwing the person who's decided to like spend their life with you under the bus. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, shouldn't you respect this person? And like, aren't they like your number one, And you're like, when they're not around, you're throwing them under the bus. But again, larger relationship problems at that point. There's other things going on. So this one, we put mostly false, but there's some truth. But hey, talk to your wife, figure it out. Communication, fix things, moving on.
You talk to your wife?
Ew, no.
So up next we have, you can start on a 600, bro, it's fine.
A classic. All-time classic.
It's classic because it's true, right?
It's absolutely true. You can start on a 600. There's nothing that says you can't, especially here in America. It is physically possible to do so. Every single rider I've seen that starts on a 600 doesn't know jack about riding and usually sucks ass at riding. I'm just going to say that pretty plainly. Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually probably pretty annoying too, because it takes a specific kind of mindset to like eschew all positive and informative advice you've ever been told. Like, you have to almost now go out of your way to find people that will validate this incorrect, inappropriate decision.
Yeah. To me, it screams of a person that says like, oh, I'm better than this advice.
Right.
Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, I don't need to listen to all this common wisdom. These people are, you know, for lack of a better term, it's what they would say, not me. They'd say they're pussies. You know, like I'm an awesome rider or whatever. And to me, it's like so immature and silly. But you could get the 600 later. Like, just get the normal bike first, build up your skills. Like, it just screams of ego to me. Not even considering the people that say you can start on 1,000. I think I think we can all agree that's crazy, but I think some people don't. So yeah, it is physically possible to start on a 600. It is a really stupid idea, and it's crazy we still have to have these conversations.
Yeah, it's like
it's crazy to me.
Every couple years, you know, there's a new crop of young squids that come up, and I'm curious what it's going to be like once all the R6s are like literally non-existent anymore. Once all the trailer park Gixxer 600s are like in complete disrepair, because you know what, it's just everybody going to be on a ZX6R, or there's like what's the new thing going to be, right?
I think it'll be the new gen super sports, I guess, like the R9s and those sorts of bikes.
You think people are going to be starting on R9s?
I guess they say it's got low power mode or whatever. I don't know.
Rain mode.
Yeah, rain mode. Yeah. So this one, pretty false, I would say. Like, again, it's possible. It's not smart though. All right, the false board is pretty darn full, but it's gonna get added more. The all-time classic, loud pipes save lives. This one has been covered to death as well here on the AMU channel and across the internet as well. Still one of those that people will say loud and proud. And me personally, I think this is it's another cope and an excuse to have a really loud ass bike.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, I like loud exhaust, you know, a Harley Davidson owner, but it's like, I'm not gonna try to convince someone that there's some like moralistic lever of it, right?
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
I just like it because I like the way it sounds. The loud pipes save lives things, it's been scientifically disproven, right? Like, that's not how sound works. But we don't need to get into specific.
What a crazy thing to say to someone where like they say this thing and you're like, that's literally wrong from a physics perspective. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Because it doesn't, right? The pipe goes that way, you're going this way.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah,
you know?
So I think it's like, maybe it's like an identity politics thing of being like, you know, I want to do this thing, so I have to kind of create this like moral standing to get other people to accept this thing I like. When really just, if you like loud pipes, just run a loud pipe, who cares?
Yeah, this one to me, it's very much like an antisocial behavior type of thing wrapped up in this morality clause, like you said. You know, it's like, I actually think it's better if someone says, yeah, my bike is loud and it's kind of annoying, but I just like it.
Yeah.
I actually respect that more than this type of person that's like, oh no, like I do this for safety. Like, get the out of here. Like, what are you talking about? It's for safety. Like, it's not. Let's be real.
They're like, loud pipes save lives, and then they're running like no helmet or like a half helmet or something.
You'd be like, helmets save lives. Yeah, I think that's the real bumper sticker we want to see. So yeah, this one, it's just like totally false to me. So slap it up there. We only have one true aphorism. Maybe the crux of this video is that you shouldn't trust random little sayings that people say, because apparently none of them are true.
Yeah, and if it's too easily remembered, I mean, of course the one true one does rhyme, but I'm sticking with my idea that don't trust things that rhyme. It's typically too good to be true.
Yeah,
I think if it's like a short, quippy, easily repeated thing, it's probably not rooted in factuality.
Yeah, like we read Dr. Seuss to my daughter, and I'm like, this rhymes. Like, none of this. Check your facts on this.
Check your facts. Do your own research.
I tell her that every night. Yeah,
you should. You should. On that note,
on the last one,
the bike I ride is the best bike on the market in a given class, typically.
Yes, this is something that people say. It's like, oh, the bike I have, like, it's the best bike. Like, that's the best bike because I bought it. This is something I see a lot, especially in like our University of Yami-Noob and that sort of thing. It's people that think that because they made a decision to purchase something, it's like, oh, this is the best one. There is no best motorcycle, period. It doesn't matter, even in a given category. Like, some bikes have better features, some bikes are more value proposition, but like, there is no best bike, right? Like, there just isn't.
No, it's the equivalent as being like, they want to say, I'm the smartest person in the room right now, but instead that they know that's...
Really cool thing to say, by the way.
So, but instead they say, I have the best bike they make. Yeah, this like inflated self-importance, or they're like, well, Reddit told me this is the best bike. And so I base all my opinions on what the consensus of Reddit is.
Yeah, and to just like take another step back, like it's like peak gross consumerism behavior to like talk about what you bought as being the best or whatever. It's absurd. Yeah. And look, I understand that a large part of the Amy Noob is based on some of that ideas, but I think I like to put in our videos like, this bike is good for this type of person. If you're looking for this, this may fit for you, right? Even in like a sport bike context, you know, like a naked bike versus a fully faired bike, like the number of cylinders, the number, like how much power, it all depends on what you want out of the bike, you know? This is why we're talking about the Honda Hornet, and I'm like, this is a great street bike because it fits for so many people. It's a broad, it's got a really wide operating range of who can fit in that bike and really enjoy it. And then other products like a big fancy V4 or whatever, it's kind of more narrow. Like, you gotta think about it that way. So whatever bike you have, like, I'm happy you got your bike. I'm sure you love it. Please stop saying it's the best bike. That's absurd.
So
what, firmly false, we think? Goodness. Yeah, firmly false.
False board.
Yeah. Which one would you say struck your ire the most?
Struck my ire.
Yeah, which one just caused a visceral reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not if you crash, it's when. That one really rubs me the wrong way, like I said. Like, everybody's so anxious and depressed and scared, and they talk themselves out of making decisions or taking risks and like enjoying little things in life because everyone's so afraid of that negative possible outcome. So that one really strikes my ire.
Yeah.
Rubs me the wrong way, grinds my gears.
Grinds your gears, yeah.
What about you?
I think it's the I can't afford the track one. Yeah, I hate that one so much. Especially as a guy I love track days and racing and that sort of thing. And the sport is already small and not a whole lot of people are getting into it, and people saying that like they're not doing something because it's expensive just makes it worse, and then people go on the road and ride really stupidly and then like causes it's like a negative feedback loop, right? And so just admit your own fault. If you can't afford it, you know, that's your issue. Don't say that you don't go because it's too expensive.
Yeah, and it's likely not even a matter, because if you already ride motorcycles and you got that big leader bike and you have all the flashy gear and stuff, it's probably not a matter of affordability. It's that you don't want to pay it.
Exactly.
Which is a completely different conversation.
Yeah, so that's the one that I hate the most, or grinds my gears the most, let's say. I don't like saying the word hate. All right, boys, those are some common motorcycle aphorisms and proverbs that have been ranked in terms of false and true. What do you think? Did we get any of these wrong? Is it true that it's only dress for the slide, not the ride, that is true? I didn't anticipate this ending up this way. But yeah, don't believe everything you hear from random guys at the gas station. One thing is a universal truth, though. Old guys love Triumph Bonnevilles. Yeah. You'll always have them come up to you and be like, damn, that's amazing. You know, if you wanna attract older men, if that's like your thing, Triumph Bonneville's the way to go. No doubt about it. Catch you guys in the next one. See you later.